Welcome to Sunshine State of Mind. I'm Andy.
And I'm Shannon. And it is another beautiful Tuesday when you're hearing this, hopefully.
It's been a beautiful weekend, actually.
It has. I'm so happy that it is not suffocatingly hot. I know we always talk about the weather at the top of our shows, but it
wouldn't be an episode without whining about the weather. Or not whining, but, hey,
this is the time of year, though, that
being happy about it.
This is my jam, man. The fall is my favorite time of year because it starts to feel like why you live in Florida.
November to like March is the reason we
it's so awesome.
It's why you put up with the
heat and March,
humidity.
Like April last year and the year before, I think it felt
like fall or spring. Spring lasted a while.
Long time, yeah. So
you get those summery days peppered in, you'll still get those 85-degree days in February.
But they don't have the same kind of humidity that the summers have.
Right.
So yeah, it's been really, really nice. At one point I went out at probably 10 o'clock at night to walk the dog. And I was like, ooh, it's a little chilly.
It was a little chilly this morning. I got out and went for a run this morning, and it was cold.
And by chilly, I mean, anyone in the north would laugh at us. But it was feeling a little brisk.
There was a little nip in the air this morning when I went outside. Yeah, there was a little bit of nip.
We're talking like 60s.
Yes. Well, Halloween, though, was the second hottest Halloween on record here.
Yeah, it was pretty horrible.
I want to say it was about 91 degrees on Halloween. It was kind of a sticky,
super humid,
hot, humid Halloween. There was mosquitoes out.
The mosquitoes were terrible.
And then the following morning, November 1, we walk outside, and it was just
gorgeous.
The temperature dropped 20 degrees in one day.
It was exactly 10 hours too late.
Yes.
It was like, why couldn't it have been like this last night?
But at least when it's warm, even for a warm Halloween, kids' costumes, they work better in the heat, I think, except unless you're wearing a hot, sticky mask. But I remember growing up,
they work better in the heat?
Well, you don't have to put a coat over your costume. I grew up in Illinois, and you would get this awesome costume, and then Halloween would come and it's 40 degrees. You have to put a coat over it, and your stormtrooper costume is ruined.
That's so funny because that is never a problem
for
us.
Here.
I mean, I wouldn't even think about that being a problem.
You would just kind of design a costume around it being warm, and you're good.
The problem in Florida is that if you get a costume that isn't relatively thin, which most of the costumes in Florida are, the ones that they sell down here are pretty thin. But if you get a costume that isn't thin, you get some kind of woolly kind of you're Elmo or something.
Yeah, that hairy stuff.
That hairy stuff. You're just suffocating. Our daughter was Gwen Stacy for Halloween. For those of you that don't know, Gwen Stacy is Spider-Girl. And so her costume was this hoodie, which is kind of cool because she can wear it as a hoodie.
It was a little hot for Halloween, that costume.
It was.
And the mask.
But it was a hoodie that was Gwen Stacy's costume, the top of her costume, the hoodie had that pattern. So when she put the hoodie over her head, she kind of looked like it. And then it came with a mask. So she would put the mask over and then the hoodie, and she looked, she had some black leggings and she looked like Gwen Stacy. But whenever she would take the hat or the hoodie and the mask off, she was dripping with sweat.
Yes.
It was you okay? She's like, yeah, it's a little hot in there. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you just don't. The problem that you have here is finding a costume that's not gonna give you heat stroke while you're trick or treating.
And the day after, if Halloween had fallen on November 1, we would have been good.
I know. I'm a firm believer, and I feel like I should start a petition for this, that Halloween should be on the last Friday of October.
Oh, you say last Friday? That would work. I think last Saturday. I've thought about this. There should be a petition out there where
I agree, man.
Make it a floating. It doesn't have that same day every year, like Christmas or
it's
New
not
Year's,
the 25th. It's the last. It's like Thanksgiving.
It'll be like Thanksgiving, the last Saturday of October,
month, the last
I would
Friday
love that.
Or Saturday. Yeah, and it's not like Halloween has any resemblance to All Hallows Eve
No.
of yore, you know, that you know, you can't do it on a different day because you'll ruin I mean, Halloween has no resemblance to any historical aspect of All Hallows Eve.
Total just fun holiday.
Yeah,
it can be whenever.
It could be whenever. So just make it the last Friday of October.
And I love it because it's almost just as much a grown-up holiday now.
Absolutely.
Like we had this neighborhood party. Everybody was out in costume.
Yeah.
And by 10 o'clock at night, everybody was like, well, we got to go to work tomorrow. Let's wrap it up. If it was on a Friday or Saturday.
Exactly. We wouldn't have.
Yeah. It would have kept on going.
We met a new couple actually this weekend too, and they were talking about how they were in their house, and they had their house all decorated. It was all, you know, spiders and everything on the outside. The lights were on, but they weren't getting any trick-or-treaters until they realized that everyone in their neighborhood was out on their driveways, like hanging out with
that's what we were doing.
A group of people hanging out, handing out candy that way. And they're like, oh, we need to sit out in the driveway. Apparently no one wants to go to the door anymore.
That's the Florida way. Sit out in the driveway with a cooler and let people come to you.
If it's warm, if it's cool enough, you can have a fire pit, which it was not. So
we've done fire pits in the past for Halloween.
We have.
A little too hot this year.
A little too hot.
A little too hot.
Yeah, that's an understatement. But we had a good time. I think Halloween was fun. We had a nice time despite the mosquitoes. Saw a ton of jasmines from Aladdin.
Oh, right.
You know, not the plant, but
I was just going to ask, is that a thing again? But then I forgot the movie just came out.
The movie
came out. Rebooted it all.
Exactly. So there were tons of jasmine. We had friends that their son, who is turning 2 in January, he was Abu from Aladdin. He was so cute. And then, you know, jasmines. There were a bunch of jasmines.
I didn't see as many Elsa and Annas anymore.
I saw a couple.
Is that
but
old
not
and busted
many.
now?
It probably, but next year, because Frozen 2 will be out.
So I hope you didn't throw away your old costume. Hang on to it.
But Elsa looks different. She's got long hair, unbraided.
And I imagine all those little girls who are Anna and Elsa are probably triple the size by the time the sequel comes out.
But I just love Halloween. I think it's one of my favorite times of year.
It is. I love Halloween.
Despite, you know, the fact that I almost completely broke my neck the other day because I saw a fake plastic spider in the driveway.
Shannon shrieked and flinched and sprained her neck when she almost stepped on a plastic little plastic spider.
Fake spider. In my defense, though, I had slept on my neck wrong the night before, so it was already sore. It was already really sore. So when I flinched like that and jumped back because I thought I was about to step on a real spider, I wasn't about to step on it. It was like I was stepping near it, and when you step near a real spider, they're known to jump, you know, and I was afraid it was going to jump on me. So I stepped near it, and then I saw it at the last second, and I was like, ah, and I jumped backwards. And then, it hurt my neck so bad. And I come into you, and I'm like, I think I just really hurt myself. You're like, what happened?
Fake spider injury.
Yeah. Stupid fake spiders.
You're the girl who almost
foiled again.
Just gave her bike back to nature when some spider landed on the handlebars, right?
Honey, a spider's still in my bike.
It's his now. What? It's his now.
Yeah. So, anyway, I digress, but it was a good time. We had a really nice time.
And now we're on to, I can't believe it's Christmas time already.
I know. I was listening to the radio this morning, and one of the DJs was talking about, she goes, I can't believe, she's like, I feel like I shouldn't have to apologize for this, but I am apologizing. She's like, I decorated for Christmas this weekend.
Already?
And the other DJ is like, are you kidding me? I can't believe you did that. And she's like, I can't be the only one. Everyone call in if you've already decorated for Christmas. And she got one person who called in who said, well, I haven't decorated, but I did get ready for the decoration. So she's like, I moved some furniture and I cleaned up and stuff.
I thought we were bad. We pull it out right around Thanksgiving. The week of Thanksgiving, or maybe the week after.
I don't think that's bad. I think that's normal. I think normal people start decorating at Thanksgiving or right after.
Right after.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that common to have the Christmas tree up on Thanksgiving. That's become a thing for us the last couple of years.
But see, I think my thing is Christmas comes and goes so fast, and it's such a fun, amazing. It's my favorite holiday. It's my favorite time of year. So it comes and goes so fast that like even if I can enjoy it one extra weekend.
Well, that's why I hate taking the tree down, because I like the light it gives off at night. Like I'll just like hanging out in the living room with the tree on. I like the nature of the light, like that vibe it gives off.
It just feels special. Yeah.
I dig that.
I know. I do too.
Oh, so let's talk about some events coming out. Well, before we get to the events, let's talk about it is the first show of the new month. So we wanted to try a new segment where we're going to list 5 Florida events of the next month that you might want to check out.
I like how you call it a segment.
The 5 segment. We're getting professional here.
Yeah, that's us.
We're getting so professional. We have a t-shirt shop.
We do.
Which is one way to support the show. We just wanted to throw that out there. Sunshine State Shirts.com.
Talk about a tongue twister. Sunshine State Shirts. There you go.
Is it one of those names that look better on paper, and now when I keep trying to say it,
it's gonna be tough. Say it fast.
Sunshine State Shirts. I think it's okay to say.
It's like she sells seashells, because
don't make me try to say that.
It's like the SH and the non-SHs get confused, but whatever. But I love our shirt shop. We've already had a few sales.
Yes, thanks to all y'all who picked something up.
Yeah. We've got some Florida Man t-shirts out there.
We'll be adding more. I've got a few more designs in the pipeline. So as we come up with more, we'll throw them on there.
Yeah, so we're really excited about it. So please check it out.
Check out that. And Amazon, come to our website, sunshinestatepodcast.com.
Yep.
And if you click on the little Amazon link and buy something, they throw us a couple commission pennies.
Yeah, it doesn't cost you guys.
Yeah, it doesn't add anything
money
to you. They just give us some money, some extra cash for sending you there.
Let me just, if you don't mind, interrupt you for a second and give a little pitch here, because if you're like me, I do almost all of our Christmas shopping on Amazon. Almost all of it.
I do too. I hate going to the mall now.
Yeah. I mean, I think most people do. Like, and I'm not saying that you have to get from Amazon. Obviously, shop from whatever online store you want, or in a brick and mortar store.
Or go to the store, see that you like it, then buy it on Amazon.
Well, so what I was going to say though was
they love that. Stores love it when you do that.
It's such a easy thing. All you have to do is go to sunshinestatepodcast.com and click on that Amazon link. And then then everything you buy, we just get a small commission on it, and it doesn't cost you anything, and it would mean so much to us. So, just please consider that. That's all we ask.
All right. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry. So you got your 5
So I've got
events.
5 Florida events this month that I thought looked pretty cool. I try to find things that look unique, or I think that I would want to do. Before I do the list, I want to apologize if my voice is extra nasally this week, because I've got a little bit of
You've got allergies.
A little bit of a cough and a cold, and I'm
cough due to cold.
I'm struggling, trying not to sneeze into the mic right now.
You just coughed a minute ago.
I did cough.
I heard you.
I hit the little button over here. I muted myself. Someone heard that.
I heard it.
This looks great. So some of these are Christmassy, some of these are not.
Okay.
A couple of these are free, some of these are not. But this one looks great, and I tried to kind of scatter these around the state. So they're not all in Orlando or whatever. So one of them is. St. Pete, Tropicana Field. This starts November 22nd to 29th. This is called Enchant Christmas.
Okay.
This is the world's largest Christmas light maze adventure.
Christmas light maze adventure?
Christmas light maze adventure.
Huh. I don't know about any of these, just so you know. So I will be asked the questions that you might be asking.
Yeah, I hope you don't. All I know is what's on their website. I didn't. So
it's a maze of just lights, or is it like a? Did they have any pictures?
There is a. It sort of has like a little bit of like a story to it.
Okay.
There is some pictures to it. Let me bring up the little story on Enchant Christmas, and I'll tell you all about what you're supposed to do.
I like the name.
Enchant Christmas.
It sounds very magical, you know?
Does.
And that's what Christmas to me is all about, is about the magic. So
when a mischievous little elf named Eddie, I'm reading from their website, Eddie the elf.
Okay, I like Eddie.
Accidentally let Santa's reindeers free. It takes all of Tampa Bay to help find them inside the world's largest Christmas light maze and market.
So there's like a mission.
Yeah, you have a little guide. You have to go through and find Eddie.
That sounds so fun.
Find Eddie's reindeer.
I want to go.
And enter a luminescent land of larger-than-life sculptures and snow as snow gently falls around you.
Snow or Snope?
Snow, probably Snope. We don't have snow. It's also in Tropicana Field, so even if there was snow, it's got a dome. It's a domed stadium. So
yeah. So then maybe they could turn the airway down
and create real snow.
Yeah. We could go sledding.
There's a sledding place we're getting in Florida.
I know. I remember.
It's supposed to open this winter. This actually looks really, really cool. It's not just a maze. There's also a skating path, ice skating marketplace, like a winter market that has artisans and restaurants and food and all this stuff.
It sounds fun.
The price isn't terrible. It's one of those.
Not terrible.
It's one of those Screamageddon type of deals where it floats between what day you go.
Okay.
But starts at $20 for adults and $15 for kids, and then it depends on what you get. But that includes the maze, that includes the skating, that includes a Santa's Landing kids zone where you Santa's Landing where you get to meet Santa, the kids zone, a whole bunch of stuff. So it's all under one roof. And there's actually a few of these. There's one in St. Pete, and there's another one in Seattle and Washington D.C.
Oh, those aren't part of Sunshine State of Mind.
No, they're not. But if you're in Washington, D.C., listening to this for some reason,
you could
do
experience a little bit of Florida.
And it's all at the baseball parks. It's where the Mariners play in really Seattle. Cool. It's where the Rays play here, and it's where the newly crowned World Series champs, the Nationals, play in D.C. So it's there, and it's the world's largest Christmas light maze. And
that's awesome.
And that's it. No, November 22nd to the 29th. So pretty much the whole holiday season, right after Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah, that sounds great. I really like it. I kind of want to do that.
You mentioned this next one. It's St. Augustine. This also starts November 23rd. See, these are all starting right after. What day is Thanksgiving this year? It's
like the last Thursday, and everyone always thinks it's the third Thursday, but it's actually the fourth Thursday, which depending on where the month starts, it could feel like there's a whole week afterward. But this time, I don't think it does. I think it's on the 28th, I believe.
Okay.
So it's only a couple of days before the end of the month.
Okay. Well, don't quote us on that. You're just kind of pulling that off
No, I'm
your
almost
head.
Positive.
This starts the 23rd, and this is the St. Augustine Nights of Lights. This goes all the way to the end of January, so well past the new year. And this is when they just completely cover downtown St. Pete in Christmas lights.
You mean St. Augustine?
Did I say St. Pete?
Yeah.
We just got off of St. Pete.
Yeah.
St. Augustine in Christmas lights. Millions and millions of little white lights all over St. Augustine.
And I have a friend at work, actually, that went last year.
Did they like it?
She said it was amazing. She loved it.
Well, it says National Geographic for 2 years, back in 2011 and 2012, said this was one of the 10 best light displays in the whole world.
I believe it.
So,
from what she said it was awesome.
It's right here, and it's free. I mean, it's all over the city, so it's free. All the restaurants and bars, they stay open a little bit later. I guess this draws a pretty big crowd to St. Augustine.
That's awesome.
I almost said St. Pete again. And there's trolleys and those little trolley tours, those tram rides that go around. They have special tours this time of year, so that are sort of geared toward the
holidays,
the Christmas light stuff. Yeah,
very cool.
That's Night of Lights in St. Augustine, and that starts the 23rd.
Awesome.
This is in Orlando area, and we've wanted to do this a couple of years. We just never been able to get around to it. And this is ICE. I say ICE with an exclamation point.
Right.
At Gaylord Palms in Kissimmee. That's that huge hotel.
And we've seen some YouTube videos of it. We've never been, but it looks pretty amazing. And I know they give you like these big, thick down coats to go in there.
It's a huge refrigerated, frozen area you're in.
It's really cold.
And they have 2 million pounds of ice that they turn into sculptures. And you walk around and you look at scenes carved out of ice. Last year it was Christmas Story was the theme.
Yep, I remember that.
This year it's Polar Express.
Oh, yeah.
So
I love that movie.
It's 2 million pounds worth of ice sculptures decorated, different scenes from the Polar Express.
2 million pounds, man.
That's a lot of ice.
That's a lot of pounds.
That's a lot of ice.
Yeah, it is.
And there is ice, snow tubing, there's a scavenger hunt, there's snowball throwing, gingerbread cookie decorating, and all that stuff. And it depends what you pay. It kind of decides what you get there because there's different tiers. You might the base rate may not include like the snowball throwing, but it starts at $15 for kids and $30, $28.99 for adults. So that's at Gaylord Palms, which is one of the biggest hotels in Orlando. It's massive.
It's huge.
It's massive. We've been in there before. It's really I like it in there.
Yeah,
it's really nice.
Nice.
It just keeps on going.
It's like that's the one with like the giant like rainforest in it, right?
It feels like a rainforest. There's a ship in there.
Yeah.
Do you remember the story when we went in there and it smelled really bad?
Yes.
This is not Gaylord Palms' fault
I was
at all.
thinking about bringing it up, but then I thought you might not want me to.
It's a funny story. We walk in there and it's really beautiful in there. It's really nice. Beautiful. It's like this rainforesty
but
hotel,
they have flowers too, though, like tropical kind of looking flowers.
You're like, I didn't know you wanted to bring this up. Yet here we go. And then we walked through this area and it just had like this like poop smell, like this, and we're like, what is that?
That's exactly what it smelled like.
And then there was some kid, just some 14-year-old kid doing something that I probably would have done when I was 14.
Or when you were, 40.
and took a can of aerosol fart spray stuff and was just running around the hotel spraying it everywhere.
I thought it was stink bombs.
I think it was stink bombs and this like spray stuff. He was going into elevators with it.
And he got in trouble. They got in trouble.
Yeah, he got security busted him. Remember that?
Yeah, because we were like walking around and we're like, what is that smell? It smells horrible.
Like, this isn't
and
a good look for the hotel.
Better. And then I was like, wait, it smells again. And we were a different area, And I was like, what is going on here? And then we figured it out.
This kid was running around just crop dusting the whole hotel.
But not like, like with a artificial
with
crop
a little
dusting.
With a little spray. Yeah. I mean.
Yeah. So that kind of ruined the...
That's just, for some reason, I always think of that story in that place.
No,
so,
I do too.
Yeah.
So maybe we need a new story. Maybe we should go to ICE.
Maybe they'll spray like a peppermint smell through it, or gingerbread smell. I'm sure it's got that like the rainforesty kind of indoor jungle smell.
It does.
Like a good smell.
Yeah, like that chlorinated kind of water smell.
Yeah, I like that. So
I do too.
That's ICE at Gaylord Palms and Kissimmee. That's in the Orlando area. It's real close to Gatorland.
What else you got?
This is a non-Christmassy thing.
Okay.
This is cool. This is right up my alley. This is like, I love the spirit of this kind of stuff. This is called Porchfest in Jacksonville, and this is November 9th, so it's next weekend, so you can't miss it. If you listen to this show after November 9th, you've already missed it.
You're out of luck.
And Porchfest is an entire neighborhood called Springfield in Jacksonville basically becomes one big music festival, and all kinds of bands are just playing on front porches all throughout the town.
Oh, wow.
So just throughout this neighborhood.
That's
not
fun.
All of Jacksonville. So
we have some friends that live in Jacksonville. I hope they know about it.
So as you're walking just through the streets of this neighborhood, just live bands are playing on everyone's front porch, and there's food trucks, and there's craft beer and wine, and it's just a big neighborhood live band party. So for one day a year in the Springfield neighborhood, and I love stuff like this. This is really cool. Again, it's free, totally free event, kid friendly, dog friendly. But all the proceeds from buying food and things like that go to support art activities in Jacksonville. So
that's awesome.
That's pretty neat. I want to check that out. That sounds pretty neat. And then the final one on my list of the 5 Florida events of the month, it's another non-Christmassy, totally free event. This is called the Hobie Cat World Championships. You know what Hobie cats are? Those little catamaran sailboats.
I was thinking of the coffee that cats poop out.
Is that called Hobie? I've heard it. We just watched a video on it.
We just watched a video on it, but I think maybe it was Covey.
Covey sounds right.
I don't remember, but I thought that's when you said Hobie cat, I thought of cat coffee poop.
There's some kind of coffee where the cats eat the beans and
then
poop it out,
and then it makes good coffee.
They use the coffee beans.
And the coffee's like $50 for a little bag of coffee.
Is it really good though? I wonder if this coffee bean passed through the digestive tract of some rare cat, so I'm gonna pay $50 a cup for it.
Are they like rare Egyptian cats?
I don't know. I don't know much about it.
I heard that they were like they said on this video we were just watching that they're like humanely raised and like all in like this.
The cats are, or the coffee is?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know. I try not to eat anything that comes out of poop.
Yeah, that's a pretty good.
I feel like
it's a pretty good life.
I feel
plan.
pretty firm on that particular life goal.
If it's hasn't been digested once, you want to be the first person.
I want to be the first to digest it.
What would you? There's refried beans where you don't. They didn't get it right the first time.
Redigested
beans.
Ugh.
So this is at Captiva Island. This is right at the South Seas Resort, and so this is the World Championship of Hobie Cat Racing.
Okay.
It goes from now.
Sorry. So what's a Hobie Cat again?
It's those little catamaran sailboats.
Okay.
It's a little sailboat. This goes on till
That's fun.
The first half of the month, from November 1 to 16th. It's totally free unless you want to take a boat out to be closer from the South Seas Resort. You can just watch it from the resort. You don't have to be staying there. South Seas Resort's awesome. We love that place.
It's really great.
We've been there. And this is the first time it's been in the it's a yearly event, but it has not been in the U.S. since 1984.
Oh, wow.
And so there's going to be 400 different Hobie cats from 25 different countries. This is like the world championship of the
Hobie cats.
Sailboat racing.
Cool.
So, and that's pretty much the first half of November down in
that's cool.
Captiva Island.
Sounds fun.
That sounds fun. Boat racing. I think
boat racing.
That would bring out a fun crowd, I think.
Oh yeah, I think all of these events would bring out a fun crowd.
The Jacksonville one, that's right up my alley. I'd love to go check that out.
A trip to Jacksonville.
I haven't been there in a little while either.
Go visit our friend John and his wife Shannon and
do the
shout out to John. Anyway, so I had an interesting event this week at work that I wanted to talk to you about.
You got to go to Weeki Wachee.
Spoiler alert.
Well, what was the next words going to be out of your mouth? It was at Weeki Wachee.
It was. So I got this kind of like almost a behind the scenes tour.
Now, you have not told me any of this yet. You've only shown me a couple pictures.
I showed you a couple pictures.
I saw a picture of someone holding an alligator and then a picture of you with some mermaids behind you. That was awesome. That was a great shot.
It was a great shot. Yeah. So I went for this work event and we went on a boat ride and I got some footage that we'll insert here of the boat ride. We didn't see any real like animals or anything on the boat ride, but it was beautiful.
Was it the little pontoon boat that you take up the Weeki Wachee River?
Yeah, it was.
That's fun.
So we went on this boat ride, really nice, peaceful boat ride, and then it's a guided tour. So there's actually a state park ranger that gives the tour while you're out there.
I remember doing this, and I remember seeing manatees, which it's funny. I guess they're not always there.
No, they weren't there.
But everybody, when I did this, I think you were there. Everybody flipped out except for the driver. He's just like, yeah, another manatee, whatever. Like, it's just another
womp, womp.
Another day, another manatee. And then he showed us eagles.
You would think that he would at least act like he was excited to see it.
Everybody's like, oh, manatee in the water, manatee in the water. He's just like, yeah, I see him here. They're just out here. And then I know.
Okay.
I remember his reaction.
Was he the tour guide?
Yeah, it was I think so. Was there a tour guide and a captain?
Yeah, we had
different people.
We had a couple of people.
I don't remember that.
I don't know if that was just special for us because it was a special kind of like behind the scenes. This wasn't a behind the scenes thing. This is something that everybody can get, but I don't know if they like added an extra person because we were a group there. But yeah, so we had a tour guide and then a captain as well, and it was really fun. We had a good time. Didn't see any alligators, didn't see any manatees, didn't even see a turtle. We saw some fish.
Did they point out the bald eagle nest that's in there?
They did.
Yeah, that's been there for a long time.
Well, it actually moved recently.
The eagles moved it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they talked a little bit about that. But yeah, it was a really great boat ride. So then we went to this other portion. So we had a meeting there too. So we were in this meeting room where we did our, meeting business, the whole reason we were actually there. And then that actually got cut short because we had to go to another event that we didn't know what it was. And it turned out,
surprise event?
Well, it wasn't really a surprise event. I think the communication just wasn't up right there. But it turned out it was the Mermaid Show.
Oh, okay.
So we went to the Mermaid Show, and I mean, when was the last time we went to the Mermaid Show?
It's been a couple of years.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years, I think. So the last time we went, we
went there for Swamp Fest, maybe a year or two ago.
No, that was like, I remember.
Is time flying too quick here?
Yeah, it was like almost 4 years ago.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember that was like the first year I worked there. Okay. I went. So, not there. No, I don't work at Weeki Wachee. But when I first started working at the job that I work at now, we did an event at Swamp Fest. So anyway, so we go to the Mermaid Show, and before the Mermaid Show even starts, this park ranger comes out and she's got 3 different Tupperware boxes.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but
and you figured, was she bringing it out in such a way that
Well, no.
You had a feeling some kind of critter was inside?
No, like they were already there when we got there. So we come out and like there's like a little stage area, and on the stage area there's 3 Tupperware boxes. And I was like, are they going to move that? Because it's kind of blocking what I think will be the view of the mermaids. You know, I didn't know that there was going to be a show associated with that.
Okay.
I just thought somebody left a couple of Tupperware boxes out, you know, like it was like, it almost looked
Someone
like,
had their lunch and just left it out in the middle of the theater?
It was like an opaque, you couldn't see into it, but it was like almost like a big, like, you know, like a crate almost, you know, and I have footage that we'll add in here, but, it just looked like somebody had been, and then there was like a little like squirt bottle and like a rag. It almost looked like somebody had been cleaning and left some debris out. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm like, what the heck? Are they going to move this? This is kind of weird. And then this park ranger comes out and she starts talking about some of the animals that they see there at Weeki Wachee.
Just natural animals.
Natural animals,
yeah. Vibe. Okay, part of the environment.
And so she pulls out from one of the Tupperware boxes, one of the smaller crates, a turtle.
Okay.
And so she's showing us one of his turtles, and it's a red.
I've seen a lot of turtles in the mermaid show, though. I've seen where the mermaids will grab a turtle and kind of start dancing with it for a second. I've seen them do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I remember seeing a mermaid grab a turtle by the little finger, little hands, and just kind of dance around with it and let it go.
That's funny. No, that didn't happen, but that would have been cool. Yep. So there was a red-bellied turtle.
Red-bellied slider? Does that sound right?
So she talked a little bit about the kinds, and I don't remember the kinds that there were now, but there were 2 different turtles that she showed us, which were very
red-bellied terrapin, maybe? That sound right?
That sounds right. They were both really cool, and one of them she even said would come when you called it. So she then, she then proceeds to like try to call the turtle, and he does kind of come to her, sort of. So, and I got some footage of that too. We'll put it in. But then she puts the 2 turtles away, and then she brings out the big crate, which has an alligator in it.
Oh, okay. I've seen this picture.
Yeah.
You showed me this picture.
So she brings out this alligator and shows him around, which was really cool. So it was like this whole pre-show that I thought that I'd never really seen before. I don't know if they do that on a regular basis or if that was like special for us.
Were there other people there?
There were other people there. It wasn't just us.
I've never seen them do that before. I've been to the Mermaid Show a few times. It's always just the Mermaid Show.
Right.
But they just recently, I was going to ask you this, they just recently redid the theater.
They did.
The mermaids were performing over in Orlando at
Correct, yeah.
Sea Life for a couple of months. And how was the new theater?
So
were you able to tell much of a difference?
I don't really remember what it looked like before, but it looked nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked nice.
It never looked bad before. It just kind of had like a little bit of an older feel to it.
But it didn't have an older feel to it anymore. So they must have done some really great stuff.
Okay.
The outside still looks a little bit older, but
the
inside,
there's not much they can do there.
So the inside
I like the older look because it gives it like that old,
it's like an old Florida look.
Old kitschy Florida look. Yeah, I wouldn't want them to change that.
So she showed us the alligator. Then she kind of left, and then they had this whole like video clip or video that they showed before the mermaid show, and it talked about like all the history of the mermaids and how long they've been there and how Elvis came to see them.
I knew they were going to talk about Elvis. I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah,
that's such a weird. It's not weird at all, but it's like this point of pride. Elvis once was here,
right?
And he watched this, and they always bring it up.
So I didn't tell you this, but then afterward, like I'm going to continue with this part of the story, but because I know I'll forget if I don't tell you now. Afterward, we actually ended up going to the Coney Island Drive-In.
Oh, you went there?
Which is also famous for having Elvis eaten there.
Well, the billboards say that. On I-75, there's these billboards for the place that say, "Eat where Elvis ate," the Coney Island hot dog place.
Drive-In, yeah.
Drive-In, right.
So
you guys went there?
Yeah, we went there. The food, the Yelp rating was like pretty high.
Okay.
So I was expecting it to be really good. I got a burger, which I probably shouldn't have. I probably should have gotten a hot dog. The burger was only okay.
Aww.
So I feel like I let everyone down. I've let you down. I should have gotten a hot dog so I could tell you how the hot dog was.
You went to the Coney Island dog place and got a burger.
I know. I feel bad. But the vibe in there was really cool.
Was there like pictures of Elvis all over the walls?
There was Elvis on the walls. Tons of like like license plates everywhere and old kitschy Florida signs.
I want to say I've seen this place from the outside. We drove by this once.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I want to go back and get a hot dog.
All right, we'll have to do that.
But
maybe
but I'm
let
glad
them redeem
that I got
themselves.
to go, 'cause I always kind of wanted to go and check that place out. So
You're like the one who goes to the seafood restaurant and orders a burger, the landlubber special.
I know. I'm such a jerk. Anyway, but I really did like the vibe in there. So I think we should go back, and I do recommend you check it out. So anyway, back to the Mermaids. So they had this whole show, a whole pre-show on a video about Elvis coming and, you know, all the different things. And then they had one mermaid that actually like posed with Elvis, and she came on the TV and like talked, and she's obviously much older now, and she talked about how amazing it was to meet Elvis and like to swim and dance for him and all this stuff. So it was pretty cool. So all this like
I was
build
wilding
up,
that she's still around.
Yeah,
that's what I was wilding at.
All this build up, right? And we're like, are they gonna ever show us the mermaid show? I mean, it's like so much build up. So finally, the curtains raise and the mermaid show starts, and it was so cool. It was a different show than I'd ever seen before. This is a relatively new show that they have. So in the past, I think we've seen the Little Mermaid version.
They did the Little Mermaid. I remember there was a scene where one of the mermaids pops through that window and just screams at the top of her lungs in the theater. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Well, this new show, there's a mermaid. Well, she's not really a mermaid. There's a girl that does this as well, and she swims with a mermaid, but she is not a mermaid. She is dressed as the what's the ringleader? What in The Greatest Showman?
The ringmaster.
Ringmaster.
Okay.
She's dressed as the ringmaster, and the opening song is from The Greatest Showman.
So they did like an underwater version of The Greatest Showman.
Yeah. So it was interesting. She didn't have a mermaid tail. She was a human.
So she was under the water wearing that.
Yeah.
That's.
But there were mermaids
weird.
too. It wasn't just her. There were mermaids too that were dancing and swimming with her to that Greatest Showman song.
The one that the girl sings?
No,
or the one that
the first one where he's like, "Ladies and gentlemen."
Right.
That one, you know. So
I'm picturing the one of the girl sings at that big number.
Pops out of the door and like scares the bejeebus out of you and like squirts you with water as she's talking to you and stuff. I
remember that was a stunning moment the first time they did that in the Little Mermaid one, 'cause I did not expect that.
She slams open the door.
Yeah.
Kind of like those Screamageddon guys when they'd slam open a door, it kind of like startles you.
I didn't even know the mermaids
loud.
had access to get into the theater in any way. I just thought they were out behind the glass in the spring, and then one of them is.
They are. But she
screaming at you through the window. Yeah.
So anyway, so they do that song, and then they do a couple other songs, couple other things. I got a lot of great footage that we'll put in here. But then, and this part is my favorite part this is the main reason I wanted to talk about this, is they have a Lingbia monster come.
Lingbia monster?
It's called Lingbia.
Lingbia.
Okay, so Lingbia
it sounds like something you buy at IKEA.
It does sound like something you would buy at IKEA. You're right. It's not, but it does kind of sound like
that. The Lingbia
that.
Shelf or some kind of thing they sell in the food area.
Right. So no, that's not what it is. So Lingbia is an algae that covers seagrasses, and it's killing seagrasses in the springs
They turned
in
it
Florida.
into the villain of the story?
So, kinda, yeah.
Okay.
So Lingbia is bad, and there's like a huge effort to try to like get Lingbia, clean up the Lingbia in the springs, so to help protect the seagrasses, because when the seagrasses die, the manatees don't have anything to eat. You know, it's like kind of a vicious cycle.
Circle of life.
Yeah. So this Lingbia monster, and he looks like a giant. It's a person in a Lingbia suit. He looks like just a person covered in moss, basically.
I'm picturing like one of those ghillie suits that you ever seen those.
Yes, it's very similar
but
to
it's
that.
Underwater.
But it's underwater. He's swimming underwater. Got some footage of that too. And he starts dancing, and I assume it's a he. Maybe it's a she. I don't know. Because it's all covered in moss and you can't see anything. But they tell this story about how the Lingbia is, hurting our springs and how it's killing our springs, basically. And the reason that Lingbia thrives is because we have fertilizers that we put on our lawns, and the nutrients from the fertilizers go into the springs.
It's probably a fertilizer thing. The red tide is the same kind of thing.
Right. Well, and it doesn't nutrients don't cause red tide, but they feed red tide.
If it's there, it already,
right.
Yeah.
And it makes it grow faster and get worse, so on and so forth. So it was kind of like it's the first time I've ever seen a mermaid show where they incorporated some kind of like really good messaging for people, because a lot of people don't know that fertilizing their yard, even if you're not next to a spring, the runoff can really hurt the springs.
We'll take it forever. It'll take it miles.
Yeah, absolutely. So I thought it was so great that they incorporated that into the show.
And they made the Lingbia the villain of the show and made it sort of entertaining. And
they did. And I thought it was great. So I'm so glad that they incorporated like kind of an educational
I want to go see this.
It.
We've been talking about going to Weeki Wachee for a while now.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
I mean, we used to go every so often, but it's been a lot. What, you really think it's been 4 years since I've been there?
Oh, I don't know if it's been 4 years since you've been there, but I know that it's been 4 years since that Swamp Fest thing.
Okay, that's probably the last time I was there. I remember trying to go swimming in the spring, and it wasn't that warm of a day. It wasn't really like hot enough to go swimming in the spring that's 72 degrees. I remember getting in that water going, ooh, it's cold.
Yeah. It can be cold for sure. So anyway, I had a really fun time with that. So I just wanted to kind of, I know that was kind of a long story, but
no, that's great.
But it was a good time, and it was really cool. Oh, just one more thing. We had, and we'll put this picture in of me, but we had this opportunity after the show to take a picture with the mermaids, like me and the whole group that I was with for my work. And the mermaids were like behind us. And so while we're waiting for them to set up this photo, they're like, kind of like, oh, mermaid so-and-so move to the right, mermaid so-and-so move to the left.
Through the speakers that are in the
through the
spring.
speakers that are in the spring. So as they're like trying to organize it, I have two mermaids right behind me in the window, and I'm like right next to the window, and I'm like, oh, heck yeah, I'm taking a picture.
Yeah, I remember you saw the selfie.
I'm taking advantage of this, man.
Right. So
I take a selfie with these two mermaids, and the picture turned out perfect.
It really did. It was great.
It's so perfect. So we'll put it in here for you guys to see if you want. So yeah, it was a really, really fun day.
I mean, you don't really. Those mermaids are famous, and so to be able to see them right there behind you, almost like messing with you through the window. Yeah, that's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Yeah. I mean, outside of all the Orlando, Disney World, Universal stuff, that's one of those famous Florida iconic things that people know about outside of Florida, I think.
I feel very fortunate that I got that picture.
That's pretty cool.
And then after we took that group picture, I'm like, guys, look at the picture I got. And everybody in our group was like, oh man, I wish I got a picture. They were so jealous. So anyway, so had a really great time there. And then to top it all off, such a great week. Then Wednesday we went to Harry Potter trivia.
We did. We went to Harry Potter. I didn't know you were gonna.
It's like the best week ever for me.
We went to Harry Potter trivia night, and we knew we were gonna win because we had you on the team. And the winner got a $50. It was $50 bar tab, right? And so I told a couple friends, like, guys, we're drinking for free tonight because Shannon's coming with. And turns out
it was so fun though, because like I really thought, like, a couple of our friends like read the books, and I thought that they would be like, very helpful as well. But I gotta say, man, I carried the team.
You did carry the team. Turns out though that there's a lot of Harry Potter nerds in the world, because we tied for first.
We tied for a three-way tie.
It was a three-way tie for first. We didn't miss a single question, but no, the other two teams didn't miss a question either.
Yeah.
And it was all because of you, honest to gosh. I mean, I knew a few of them.
No. So there was this one music section though.
Almost forgot.
It was like
they were bringing up songs. It had nothing to do with Harry Potter. It was
it was a total like curveball, and they brought up songs that had something to do with magic, and songs and identifying songs and identifying who sings those songs. That's my kryptonite.
Yeah.
And that's your jam. And you helped carry us along with a couple of our friends through that section. So I didn't carry that part at all.
Like who sang the song about, magic? Abracadabra by the Steve Miller Band.
Right. And you knew.
I knew that. I knew that. And I Put a Spell on You by CCR.
A Bruno Mars song.
That's the one I didn't
Magic.
know. I mean, I knew Bruno Mars, but I didn't know the name of the song.
Yeah.
But so we tied for first. We ended up coming in third because we lost the tiebreaker question.
The tiebreaker question was such like a no one would know question.
It was how many pages are in the first Harry Potter book.
The U.S. version.
The closest team wins.
And we weren't.
We were the furthest team. We missed it by 100 pages.
Yeah. So anyway, that was super fun. So it all in all, it was like a really fun week. And then it was Halloween on Thursday.
It was Halloween. So let's talk briefly. This is sort of a potpourri episode. We even said that jumping around.
Yeah.
Before. Do you want to go talk about Galaxy's Edge, our return to Galaxy's Edge this week?
Yes. So Saturday we went to Hollywood Studios.
We went to Hollywood Studios, back to Galaxy's Edge, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. It wasn't very crowded at all. I didn't think it was a lot less crowded than the first couple times we'd been there. I mean, you could actually take a picture of the Millennium Falcon without a million people in front of you this time.
You think? I felt like that was still pretty crowded.
There was a lot of people, but it didn't seem any more crowded than any other part of the park.
Yeah, no. I mean, it wasn't packed. But it wasn't empty.
It wasn't empty, but it was. I mean, the line for the Millennium Falcon ride was 60 minutes, but we did the single rider, and we were on in 15 minutes. I timed it.
Yeah, that was great.
15 minutes from walking in line to being in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. So that was great. That's my tip of the show, is do that.
Well,
unless you don't want to be the engineer. You'll be the engineer every time.
No, here's the real tip, okay? So if you go into the single rider line, it's a hallway that you go down this hallway, okay? And you get to a hallway, you go through this hallway, and then you get to this point where the line splits off into 2 stairwells. So if you go down that hallway and the hallway is empty, you're golden. Like, that's when you know the line's going to be 15 minutes. But if you like get to the hallway and it's already stopped at the beginning of the hallway, it's going to be a 45-minute wait. That's what I've discovered.
Was it 45 minutes the first time we went? Yeah, because it was like a 90-minute wait outside.
Yeah, so if there's a long...
Still cut the line in half.
Yeah, it does still cut the line some, but it's still a bit of a wait, you know. And they even said as you're going in, like, just so you know, the wait could be just as long as the other one, you know, because if the line outside is 45 minutes and the line in the single rider goes to the end of that hallway, you're waiting 45 minutes too.
Maybe even longer, because only taking one at a time.
Right. Yeah. So that's a insider tip there if you do decide to do the single rider line. But I will say, though, that this time we did single rider, and it was... So, you know, I've said this before on the podcast, I'm super competitive. Like, that's just my nature. And as the engineer, you're supposed to press these buttons anytime the ship gets hit or has any kind of problem.
And it's not very clear what you're supposed to do, if I'm being honest.
Right. So
it tells you sometimes, but when to like fix the ship, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing.
And then at some points, if it's really bad, like air will blow out at you, like, you know, it's like, shh, you know, coming out.
Just noticed that for the first time on this ride, the air. I didn't notice the air the first time
so
we
the air
on.
blows out at you, like, you know, something's going wrong, you know.
I didn't notice that. I thought it was a nice touch.
So this was the first time, though, that I said to myself going in, you know what, I'm not going to worry about my score. I'm not going to go in focusing on the buttons. I'm going in to enjoy the ride and the experience.
It's a better ride if you're not preoccupied by hitting buttons.
It was so much better. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like, I hit the buttons occasionally, and if they were blowing air in my face, I hit the button, you know.
If you're the pilot, though, that's different. But if you're sitting in the back hitting buttons...
If you're just an engineer, just enjoy the ride. And I feel like even as the pilot, like, you do enjoy the ride more because you're actually steering. Yeah. So you're watching the screen.
No one's going to give you any money for a high score. But if you're so you might as well just enjoy the ride.
But if you're an engineer, all you're doing is looking at, like, the button display and hitting buttons. You're not looking at the screen in front of you.
No.
So I feel like as a pilot, you can interact with the experience and still enjoy the show.
And when you're the pilot, the screen in the front of the cockpit is sort of around you.
It's right there. Yeah,
it's around you. You're more enveloped by the screen.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a side.
We wanted to give our blue milk review.
We got blue milk.
We got the blue milk that everyone's been talking about.
It was $8.
$8 for what, about a 10 ounce?
I don't even think it was that much.
Smaller than a soda can, right?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. It was like maybe 8 to 10 ounces.
And so the first kid took a sip and said, "I don't like this. You try this."
Yeah.
And the second kid took a sip. "I don't know if I like this. You take it." I drank it. I kind of made a face like, "I don't really like this either." You drank it, and we're like,
I didn't like it.
It's not great.
No. So then, our son decided that he did like it, and he drank most of it. But this is my honest review. It's like $7.99 too expensive.
I would never buy it again.
Never.
For $8, my immediate reaction, or not reaction, but my natural thing was to compare it to like butterbeer, which is the other specialty drink.
Right.
Which I don't remember the price off the top of my head, but I don't think it's $8.
It might have been $8. It depending on. I feel like
only because
if you got like the souvenir cup, it was like 10 or 12, and then like just a cup, I think maybe was 6 or 7. Maybe it wasn't cheap. I know that it wasn't super cheap, but it tastes good.
Butterbeer's
like
great.
It tastes really good. It tastes like butterscotch,
$6.99
okay.
for a little bit less.
Yeah, so $1 less, you get something that tastes good as opposed to...
when it first opened, it was $3 for regular, $4 for frozen. That's when I remember it being
okay.
a pretty
so the
decent.
Price went
yeah,
up.
that's why I remember it being a little substantially cheaper. But now it's $6-7. Yeah, to me, I was expecting it to be like it was blue. So I was expecting it to taste like fruity pebble milk.
Well, that's what everyone said too. They didn't. Isn't that what the reviews we heard?
Some of the people said it was fruity pebble milk.
Pebble
the
milk,
green, I don't know. We didn't try the green. We tried
didn't
the blue.
try the green.
And it tasted to me. It was kind of fruity, but sort of like
it almost tasted like a Jolly Rancher,
like
a little bit, like a blue raspberry Jolly Rancher.
Had a little bit of Pepto-Bismol sort of texture to it, or
sure,
like a chalkiness to it.
It did, yeah.
It's not real milk. It's rice and soy milk, I think.
Oh, is that what it is?
And it's kind of has like a frappuccino sort of texture to it.
Yeah,
it's not icy. I was expecting it to be icy. It's more. It is milky, but
it's not like a liquid. It is a little bit more of a frozen beverage. It reminds me of like a smoothie.
It's exactly like a smoothie, but with like a milky sort of.
So a milky base.
The texture was odd. Not bad. Odd. The texture was fine, but.
I wouldn't recommend it.
It was kind of chalky and Pepto-Bismol-y, and
it's just my opinion.
Yeah, I wasn't wild about that. Now, you got a good picture of the mermaids, and I'm mad at you for missing the photo op that we almost had at...
Well, I did get a photo op of you and an Imperial
officer, yeah.
And he laughed at your joke.
I got an Imperial officer to crack, to break... I
got a picture of him laughing, and then I got a picture of him trying to be intimidating.
I told Shannon, I'm like, I'm gonna go over here, and there Kylo Ren was walking around, and I learned here's a tip that Disney's not gonna want to hear, maybe the characters will get a little tired of this after a while. But if you want to get a good picture of one of the people walking around, you got to heckle him. You got to learn to heckle him. So I walked up to Kylo Ren and I said, "Oh, Kylo Ren, you're not so tough." I wasn't that creative just yet.
Yeah. But I will say though, give your wife or spouse a heads up.
A little more of a heads up
when you're about to do this, so that she or he can have their camera ready. Because I was busy trying to help our son download the Disney Play app. Andy says something to
Kylo Ren's not so tough, and
Kylo immediately is on him.
He turns around, sticks his hand in my face. He says, I don't know what he was saying.
It was great, and I was not prepared.
And I looked at you out of the corner of my eye like, hey, get the picture. And then you were like, dang it. And
I
feel like
away. I was kind of stunned because I was helping him with the Play app, and I look up and I'm like, oh no,
Kylo Ren is right there. And then so I'm like, okay, we gotta try this again.
Yeah.
So I walked up to a stormtrooper and I said, well, like behind his back, I said, "Stormtrooper, more like pants pooper. Am I right? Am I right?" And the stormtrooper turns around.
Can I say it?
Yeah.
Can I say what he said?
Yep.
He turns to him and he looks at him, kind of intimidating, and he goes, "Yeah, you're probably right."
Well,
and shrugs.
He goes, "That's." You could tell he was trying to think of something witty to say.
Yeah.
He goes, "That's affirmative," and then he walks away. That's what he said.
That's right. So
and so there was
funny.
We're like, okay, we gotta try this again. We gotta try to get a good picture. So we found the Imperial officer guy, the guy walking around with the little hat on. He's got those big tall boots and he's goose stepping through the land.
He is.
And I go, "First order, more like first odor." Am I right? I was just being really obnoxious with the whole. Am I right? Am I right? Just trying to be just obnoxious as I could possibly be. First odor, am I right? And he walks up and he gets right in your face. He gets right in my face.
And
he looks
smiling.
at me and he starts cracking a smile. Like he starts like trying to look mean, and then he just starts smirking, and he starts just laughing. And I'm like, "Look, I got him to break." And he goes, "You're a funny guy. I'm going to put your prison cell right next to my office so you can make me laugh all day." And then he just got back into his thing. But
yeah, that was funny.
So there you go.
Yeah, I did get a picture of you in the
heckle the bad guys, and you get a good picture. You get a good photo op.
Yeah. So we'll try again with Kylo Ren.
I got to get the Kylo Ren one.
Yeah. But it was a fun day. We had a good time. We ended up over at Epcot toward the end, just briefly, and got a teriyaki bun and some escargot.
We wanted to get another scan on our badge so we can get the free thing they're giving. What are they giving away this year?
It's coasters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
and we rode the Skyliner again. We took our chance and we survived. We didn't get stuck.
It was great. Yeah, we didn't have any problems. Took a ride with a very nice Canadian family.
A great family from Alberta on the way back.
Yep.
So
anyway, we had it was a very eclectic week. You know, we had a lot of different things happening.
Halloween,
between
Weeki
Wachee,
and
you know, the
Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
Hollywood Studios.
Harry Potter trivia. I mean, it was just a kind of a fun, eclectic week, but you know us, we like to tell you about our weeks.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you like this podcast, please support us by giving us a review on Apple Podcasts and sharing us with your friends and family. You can find us on Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, or pretty much anywhere you download a podcast. Another more direct way you can support the show is by visiting our website, sunshinestatepodcast.com, and clicking through on the button that says Become a Patron. It's a safe and secure way you can support the show, and there are different levels, some of which will give you bonus content and even qualify you as an advertiser on the show. There's also an Amazon link on our webpage. If you click through on that link and just make your normal purchases, Amazon gives a commission to the show at no cost to you. You can also follow us on Twitter or Facebook. Our handle is @FloridaPodcast, or search Sunshine State of Mind on YouTube. And be sure to check out our website at sunshinestatepodcast.com. We'll see you next time.